This is Grace Notes. I'm Alan Button, and pleased to have as our guest Kym Weathers Smith. Kym, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Kym is, well, there are a lot of titles, I suppose, that we could identify Kym with. Let me start with your work, just so we've got some context. Kym is the manager of contract administration with Siemens, having been there for, I guess, about 13 and a half years now, Kym?
That's correct.
She's got a team of 12 that she oversees, but except for the fact that she has a lot of time demands work-wise, we're not going to talk about her work as much as we are about her volunteering. Kym has spent a lot of years involved with the Haven in Sanford, North Carolina.
Haven in Lee County.
Is that the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it is a domestic violence and sexual assault
Emergency shelter.
Emergency
yes.
shelter. Very good. Well, tell you what, Kym, why don't we just jump right off from that? Tell us how you got involved in the Haven originally.
I've known about Haven for many years. It's been in our community since the mid-'80s. I was actually a client of Haven many, many years ago, different lifetime, back in the early 2000s. And when my husband and I relocated to Sanford in 2013, we had saw some articles in the paper, and I decided that I would like to give my time and give back since they were so good to me, many years prior. And then in 2014, I got a call asking to volunteer. Do you have time to do some volunteer training? And I'm like, sure. And here I am 7 years later, still volunteering and still trying to help in any way I can.
I gather one thing led to another, because I understand you recently completed a 6-year term as a board member.
I did. I joined the board in June of 2015, and by law say you can be on the board 6 years. So at my early age of early 40s, I got to retire off of the board.
At least temporarily.
We'll see what the future holds. But I still enjoy the volunteering with them and helping them with fundraising and anything that they may need.
Tell us a little bit about what exactly the Haven does.
Again, Haven is a domestic violence and sexual assault shelter. They provide emergency shelter to those fleeing those types of situations. They also offer court assistance or court advocacy. That helps folks that may not necessarily need shelter kind of navigate the court system. Not everyone understands the ins and outs of the court system. I mean, who would if you're not an attorney or if you're not part of that? So we can help our clients from helping them understand and completing their paperwork. They complete it. We don't complete it for them, but they complete it. But we can answer questions, provide clarity. We can kind of help them understand, what the judge's expectations are, the magistrate's expectations are. And sometimes it's as much as just sitting with the client in the courtroom so that they're not alone, so that they feel that there's somebody there with them. We're not giving legal advice. We're not attorneys, but we can be a companion or a support system.
How many clients does the Haven provide for?
Hundreds. Every year there's hundreds of clients, whether it's court clients, whether it's shelter clients. Every year varies. I don't have specific numbers, but I do know in the age of COVID, the shelter has stayed extremely full. And then with more people having to stay home, especially last year, we did see a rise or an increase in number of phone calls and cases of people needing our assistance.
When you say the shelter has been full, how many at one time?
We can hold up to 30, but keep in mind capacity of beds may be 30. That doesn't necessarily mean 30 is 26 might be capacity because of the makeup of the families or whatever. It really depends on the makeup of is it single women? Is it families? Is it men? But we can hold up to 30 at any given time.
And I gather that, or I guess I should put it in the form of a question, there are those who receive benefits from the Haven who may not actually be sheltered there at a particular time.
And that would be court advocacy, that would be case management, that would be support group, absolutely. There's a lot that we can offer those that don't actually have to stay in the shelter.
Is there room for other volunteers?
Oh, there are always room for volunteers. The executive director, her name is Joey Mosley. She's amazing.
Joey Mosley.
Yeah, Joey Mosley. She started as an intern years ago. She has a passion for our mission. She has her master's in social work. She's organizing the volunteers now, and she's worked with other universities to bring in interns and and volunteers in the community, and she really does do a great job with them.
I'd like to come back in a few minutes to some of the work that you do as a volunteer, particularly with respect to fundraising.
Okay.
But before we do that, tell us about this first song you've selected. I Say a Little Prayer by Aretha Franklin.
Absolutely. Aretha Franklin. Everyone knows Aretha. Everybody loves Aretha, as do I.
Why that song?
I think it's important for us to think about others, not just ourselves. And it's actually a great song to listen to first thing in the morning. I mean, listen to the lyrics. You know, you have to pray for those around you. You have to care about those around you. I mean, as human beings, that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to take care of each other. So it's just a great song to listen to and give a little motivation and remind you to remember those around you.
Yeah, as you and I were talking before we came into the studio, the lyrics are sort of oriented toward love, being a love song. But as you've just said, boy, the application goes way beyond sort of a love relationship.
I think the song is definitely probably about your spouse, your significant other, but it could be your mom, it could be your dad, it could be your siblings or your community or your friends. I mean, take care of those around you, pray for those around you. That's the best way to protect them, right?
Great introduction, Kym. Let's hear the song, I Say a Little Prayer by Aretha Franklin.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. Answer my prayer. Say you love me too. Answer my prayer. This is my prayer. Answer my prayer. I'm in love.
That was I Say a Little Prayer by Aretha Franklin. If you're just joining us, our guest today is Kym Weathers Smith. Kym is a volunteer extraordinaire, manager of contract administration at Siemens, and somehow she finds time to do a lot on behalf of Haven in Lee County. Kym, I'd like to pick up with a little bit more about what exactly you do in the fundraising realm for Haven. And I have in mind, in particular, No Scare Fair and whatever else you want to add to that.
That's the biggest one that I've organized for them throughout the years.
And that, by the way, we're just coming off.
We are recovering.
Recovering from a major effort, since it has a Halloween focus, doesn't it? Or at least time-wise.
It's always the Saturday before Halloween.
Uh-huh.
It's been that way for 20 years. This was the 20th annual, and our first time doing an outdoor festival.
Tell us what it is exactly.
No Scare Fair is amazing. Let me just say that. Carol Carlson, a local person in our area, brought this many, many years ago to our little town, and it's grew, and it's just been wonderful. But it's a Halloween event for kids, and it focuses on non-scary costumes, fun, fall festival type, activities.
Hence the term No Scare.
No, exactly. There's no gore, there's no blood, there's not supposed to be scary masks. The idea is for kids to be able to enjoy Halloween without being afraid. And the candy is screened. You know where the candy's coming from. There's no threat of anyone getting sick or anything like that. And it also is a great opportunity to bring our area together. I mean, everyone from the community comes that has children or doesn't have children, because you could be a kid at heart. You could be 67 and want to get some candy, and you can come on out. But it's just a great way to celebrate our community.
It's pretty high profile, too, in the corporate world, as I understand it, in terms of sponsors and such.
We have some great sponsors, absolutely, in this area. Our community has done a great job of supporting us throughout the years, not just Haven, but this event as well. Even before the event was Haven's to organize.
And what's your role?
I'm just the organizer. Like I kind of put
just the organizer.
Just the organizer. I put the pieces together. I have a great team that works with me of volunteers as well. That's like our little No Scare Fair committee. And we handle everything from the solicitation of sponsorship to getting the candy, to putting the candy bags together, to working with the Civic Center to do the layout, getting the food trucks, getting the vendors, doing the thank you ads and all the social media campaign. I actually love that part. That's probably my favorite part, is doing the marketing portion of it. The ticket sales with the local Piggly Wiggly, they've been great to us throughout the years. There's just a lot that goes into it, but then you get the whole event done in about 6 hours, and then you spend a few months mentally and physically recuperating.
Uh-huh.
But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's definitely just become a part of my family and a part of this community, and I'm so thankful that Carol Carlson entrusted Haven to take it over, and me as well.
Speaking of Carol Carlson, the genesis for No Scare Fair, as I understand it, grew out of the Willing Hands organization that she started?
Correct. Absolutely. And they handed it over to Haven in 2015.
Give us a sense of the numbers involved in terms of people who come to the festival and the dollars raised.
Pre-COVID, we sold about 2,300 tickets.
Oh,
and
boy.
that with 2,300, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And we would have probably 150 volunteers.
Uh-huh.
Then COVID strikes. And last year we did a drive-through. This year we did the Outdoor Fall Festival. We had probably 60-ish volunteers in total.
Uh-huh.
But we probably had close to 2,000 people come through that day. We sold 1,000 tickets, but the tickets were only for the candy bag. So the parents and the grandparents and the aunties and, could come out with the kids to pick up their bag. And anybody that drove by that wanted to, take part in the petting zoo or visit the vendors or grab something to eat off the food truck or just welcome to stop by. And that was the whole point this year is like, let's open it up. Let's make it a little bit more laid back and let's just let the community have a fun event that's not scary.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of what we did this year.
Would you describe it as successful from a dollars raised standpoint?
I think so. I think we did a great job with what we were able to raise this year, given the ticket sales definitely have decreased by 1,300.
Are there things about putting such a festival together that you would consider transferable to other communities if there are others in other places?
Absolutely. I think this is a great model for many communities to do. If you have the manpower and you have an area like the Civic Center, absolutely. If you have a big parking lot, even if you just had that, you could definitely do this event. We could definitely do a model. I would love to see other communities do what we're doing, and I would absolutely help them in any way I could.
Uh-huh. What else do you do in the way of fundraising for the Haven?
Through the years, we've done the Derby Divas, which is a ladies' luncheon. Well, it could be anybody's luncheon, but it's typically the ladies wearing the fancy hats.
Derby as in Kentucky Derby.
Exactly. We always do it in May, the weekend of the Kentucky Derby. We have a hat competition, which is very fierce, by the way. I have not been able to compete because I was on the board, but I'm not on the board now, so maybe next year I can.
We may see you in a hat, huh?
They're going to see me in a hat. I mean, I think one year I spent 7 hours creating my hat to wear it for 2 hours. And then my mom wore it the next year, which was fabulous. We repurposed. But it's just a fun way. Domestic violence and sexual assault is not a pretty topic. There's nothing attractive about it. So these events that we do are a way to celebrate our community, celebrate the survivors, celebrate the good that can come from somebody transitioning into a violence-free life.
That's actually, I think, a good segue into this next song that you've selected. Fight Song. Tell us about it. Why that song?
It's a great anthem for anybody that has been through anything traumatic, whether it's domestic violence or sexual assault or some other instance in your life, or whether you've got something on your plate that you're dreading getting through, you're having to get through it. It's just really inspirational and motivational. Be like, I got this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my voice out there and I'm going to be heard and I am going to succeed. So that's kind of my take on it.
Sounds like the kind of thing you could use on pretty much a daily basis, just getting ready for work.
I think so, yes. That's probably the second on my playlist.
Looking at the lyrics, I see, too, that a focus is on a small effort or small contribution making a big difference. Small boat on the ocean sending big waves.
Mm-hmm.
A single word making a heart open. One match making an explosion.
Think of it as, imagine just walking down the street and you smile or say good morning. As being in the South, that's what we do. Most of us are pretty friendly, but you never know if someone's having a bad day, and you never know if that smile or that thank you can make a difference. Or complimenting someone. Like you never know what's going on inside somebody's head. So why not do something so small? Just saying thank you, saying good morning, doing a smile. You can totally brighten someone's day.
And you just never know the ripple effects.
Exactly, because hopefully that person's going to pay it forward as they walk down the street or go into the next store or walk into work.
Let's hear the song. Fight Song by Rachel Platten.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves. 'Cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. No, I've still got a lot of fight left in me.
That was Fight Song by Rachel Platten. Kym, is there any particular situation or individual that stands out for you as kind of illustrative of the good things that happen at Haven? Can you give us a sense through maybe an example of some of the good work that happens at Haven?
It really has been amazing over the years to see the clients that come through. We've had teachers in our shelter that get up in the morning and go teach your children. We've had military wives in our shelter. We've had a mom that was just trying to have a better life for her kids. It's just amazing what you see and who you see come through those doors. Domestic violence and sexual assault do not discriminate. It doesn't care what political party you're part of. It doesn't matter how much education you have or do not have. It can affect anybody, with money or without. And there's a lot of stereotypes around domestic violence that need to be broken. And we see these families come in and we see how hard they work in many cases to try to transition to a different life without violence. And part of that is helping these families through support group and through empowering them to make their own choices. They are worthy of a better life. They are worthy of happiness. They are worthy of a life without violence. And it's great when you see the light bulb go off that, you know what, you're right. I am worthy. I am fabulous. I am spectacular today. To be able to instill some of that in these ladies and kids and just see them move on to bigger and better. We've definitely had ladies that have, through the years, they may have stayed with us. They've came back and donated, or they've dropped off something, or they've given, I wouldn't say advice to someone else, but they said, hey, Haven helped me do this, or Haven helped me this way. And that word of mouth is definitely helpful when someone's in a situation. There was one lady that actually came back and donated, I think it was a washing machine one year, many, many years ago. Like, she was in a place to where she could do that. And it's great to see folks come back and give or to want to pay it forward. I'm a prime example of that. I was a client years and years ago, a court client. And that's why when I moved back to Sanford and heard about Haven in 2013, in 2014, I started volunteering. I wanted to give back. That was my way of saying thank you for helping me during that time of my life, because I am who I am because of everything that's happened in my life. I would not be the Kym I am today if I had not went through that challenge and struggle all those years ago. So I wouldn't change it. There are no regrets here, guys. This is my life, and I'm proud of where my life is now and where I've come to.
Given the breadth of the clientele that you've described, it fits right in with your focus on community, it seems to me. I know that is a huge priority for you, just as a general principle. And in fact, you're involved with other things besides just Haven.
I am. I try to help in the community any way I can, whether it's donating to a local shelter or the bread basket, just wherever I can help a little bit, I try, even with my time, whether it's dropping off something that I saw on Facebook because someone had a need. I think we all should do that. Imagine if all of us took just a couple hours of our time here or there to help our community. You could be sitting on the couch watching Netflix. Get off the couch. Go do something in your community to help somebody else. You will get the best feeling by helping others.
I'm told you recently joined the Lions Club.
I did, and I'm super excited. Yes.
Their motto is?
We serve.
Uh-huh.
And that just resonates with me because there's so much that we all can do for our community, and we have to help each other, and we have to serve our community. We have to make our area better.
Kym, it's been great talking to you. Real privilege to have you share what you've shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
We'll wrap up with this last song. Tell us why the song You Say by Lauren Daigle.
It's just an amazing song. If you read the lyrics, definitely when you feel that you're not good enough, or you're down, or you feel like you've not been successful, or you feel like you failed, this song is a great one to listen to. I think a lot of times those around us see so much more in us than we see in ourselves. And I think we all need to be better about telling each other that. So when you see someone struggling, focus on the good, tell them how great they are, and help them see themselves like you see them.
When did you first hear this song?
It's been a few years. I remember actually hearing it performed at a prayer breakfast at the Civic Center a few years back by a local person, and she did an amazing job, and it's stuck with me ever since.
It's a powerful song.
Definitely is.
Grammy Award-winning song, in fact.
It definitely needs to be on everybody's playlist.
Kym, again, thank you for being here. It's been a real treat.
Thank you.
We'll close with the song by Lauren Daigle, You Say.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough.